There are multiple factors to consider when buying property, like the quality of nearby schools and the property's location. But one important thing that buyers often overlook is how the property will be titled and who will it end up with should anything happen to them. Whether you're buying a residential property or commercial real estate, ownership equals legal rights to the property. Various issues may arise if your property has ownership defects. Therefore, it's important to know the different types of homeownership.
There are 8 types of real estate ownership. 1. Joint tenancy. Joint tenancy occurs when there are multiple property holders. In this scenario, ownership is equally divided among the interested individuals. If one of the holders dies, the title is transferred to the surviving title holder through a legal document called the right of survivorship. 2. Joint tenancy with right of survivorship. In this type of ownership, everyone shares equal responsibility, which means that all the parties enjoy property profits and share losses equally. 3. Trust ownership. A property can also be owned by a trust. When this is the case, a trust manages the property assets under the direction of the beneficiary of the trust. In case of the trustee's death, the assets are then transformed to the designated heirs. 4. Tenancy in common. With tenancy in common ownership, multiple individuals jointly hold a real estate title. They may choose to pass the ownership down to anyone. In case of death, ownership is transferred to the surviving owner's heirs. 5. Community property. In the case of community property, real estate is equally divided among a husband and wife, regardless of how the property is titled. In the event of divorce or death, the other partner gets or has a right to all the community property. 6. Sole ownership. As the name suggests, sole ownership is when the property is owned by one person. The main advantage of sole ownership is that you don't need other parties to authorize any transaction related to the property. But a transfer of home ownership would become problematic should the owner die without naming a beneficiary to the property in a will. 7. Partnership owners. In business, a partnership is an association between 2 or more people, where one partner takes the liability of investment and the other makes all the business decisions. 8. Tenancy by entirety. Tenancy by the entirety is a homeownership type that's only applicable to married couples. This form of ownership assumes a couple is one person and transfers ownership to them as such. It also assumes that if one partner passes away, the entire ownership transfers to the surviving spouse.